Hello again, my name's Gabe Zollner. What did I hear? Oh, I know what I heard. I heard that California, they're running out of Democrats in their state Senate. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's picked this up yet, but the California State Senator Leland Lee, a Democrat out of San Francisco, he was arrested on corruption and bribery charges. Now, State Senator Calderon and Rom Wright, they were both indicted on corruption charges, and they are both forced to take a leave of absence. Yeah, now, there's a gentleman by the name of Derek Cressman, and he's an opponent of Lee. And he said something that I thought was worth making mention of. Quote, "We are clearly beyond the point of looking at one bad apple and instead looking at a corrupt institution in the California Senate," end of quote. Then he went on to say the constant begging for campaign cash clearly has a corrosive effect on a person's soul. And the only solution is to get big money out of politics once and for all. Well, that'll never happen. I think I also made mention of another Democrat in North Carolina, the mayor, Patrick Cannon. He was also arrested on corruption charges. Now, what this really highlights is what happens to all these folks that go into government. And I've made a number of videos on the folks that are in Congress. And I think I highlighted 12 individuals. Only one of them had a previous job outside of government. They all sort of follow the path of these individuals, you know. They become a representative on the local level, and then they migrate up into the big leagues where scamming is legal. And the reason it's legal is because they then become the lawmakers, you know. But what this really shows, without a doubt, is how corrupt these folks really are. And what happens is when they go to the state Senate or the state Congress, they become neophytes. You know, they're in the little leagues, but they're learning how to take advantage of the system. And when they hit DC and they go into Congress, well, then they're in the big leagues. And then that's when the big money starts rolling in. You know, none of this chicken feed like these guys here getting busted for 20 or 30 grand. No, they get into the big leagues and they're making millions, multi-millions. And the sad part is that for them it's perfectly legal. Most of what they do is perfectly legal because they're the lawmakers, like insider trading, getting onto appropriation committees and then making certain that a highway goes through some land that either they own or one of their very close friends owns, you know, and then the land value goes through the ceiling. Nancy Pelosi did something similar. I've made a number of videos on what she did for apartment buildings that both her and her husband owned in downtown San Francisco. Way away from any public transit until she got onto an appropriation committee. We have to revitalize the downtown section, so we need to run a train line down, you know, right in front of our apartments. Anyway, that's a different story. But it looks like the Democrats are going to be running out of Democrats. Yeah. I mean, you know, wait till 2/14, wait till the November elections. Okay, they're going to clean house. They're going to get their clocks cleaned. That's what I meant by them cleaning house. Not like they're going to win anything. They're going to be moving out of their offices. Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of folks, huh? And this is just a little tiny cross-section of what's really going on. I'm actually surprised that the FBI didn't alert them in advance, you know? Because, like, the FBI sort of leans towards the Democrats. That's why they never investigated anybody on the IRS scandal. Not one injured party. And there was only, what, 285 of them. Not one injured party was investigated. But they came to the conclusion that there was no crime, no foul, no harm. You know what I mean? Everything's okay, huh? Yeah. The IRS. I don't know. But what I do know is that we're all screwed because this government, both at a local level and at a federal level, like in Washington, it is so rotten. I don't think you can save the patients, you know what I mean? They learn how to take advantage of their position of power. And when they get to the Senate, God, take a look at the morons we have in Congress, out of those 535 congressional representatives. I gotta believe about, I don't know, 70% are complete idiots. They just get elected because their constituents are idiots. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's that guy's name? Johnson. The guy that said that he was worried about Guam tipping over. And what about the guy that had $100,000 in his fridge? I hear he got reelected again. Actually, it was in his freezer. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think it's too late. And I don't see anything good coming out of Washington. Do you?